Hello everyone, welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm gonna show you how to create this cool animation using Attractor, simulation Attractor. So first let's take a look on what we're gonna be creating. Well, let's get started. First, let's create a sphere. Let's resize it a little bit. Now let's create a cylinder. This cylinder will hold this sphere. And now let's create, while holding Alt, let's go to simulate dynamics and add a connector. In the same coordinations with the cylinder, simulate dynamics, add a motor. Now let's rotate the connector 990 degrees, sorry. Let's place it here, and the motor also is rotated 90 degrees. Alright, right click on the cylinder, simulation tags, and add a collider body. In the connector, select the cylinder as the object A, and the object B will be the sphere. Alright, the motor, the object A is the sphere, there is no object B. So now let's place these guys here on the top, and let's play. Let's go to sphere first and add a simulation tag, rigid body. Let's play, yeah. Let's hide this cylinder, and let's go to sphere, to motor, and make the target speed minus 1000. Alright, now let's add a tube, change orientation to +Z, and let's change these, scale it down, and change the outer radius and the inner radius a little, and the height too. So we're gonna create a pipe that will generate some spheres for us. So let's make it in the table. Go to polygons, go to select, globe selection, select this one, right click and bevel it a little bit, right click and loop cut, cut. Let's put a cut here, go to loop selection, select this one, extrude it a little bit, go to lines, select these rings, right click and bevel them a little bit. Let's go back here and go to loop selection again, select polygons and select this loop here, extrude it a little, and move it up a little bit, just like this. Now loop selection, let's create a loop, a cut here and cut here, hold Alt and add a subdivision surface. Perfect. Now let's add a plane. Let's scale it up to have a huge ground. Now let's place it under the pipe, perfectly under the pipe. Perfect. Right click on the plane and add a collider body. Now hold Alt, select the tube, our pipe, and hold Alt, go to simulate and add particles, add an emitter. Let's place the plane here. So the emitter will be here, as you can see, and it's rotated 100 minus 180 degrees or 180 degrees. It's okay with that. Perfect. We have the, if you play it, we have some emitters get out from the pipe. Let's increase frames to 300 frames, and now we have to add a sphere to be the object that the emitter will generate. So let's change the segments to 60, for example. Doesn't matter if you change the segments to 8 to 12 or 8, because we have the render perfect and it will always be rendered as a sphere. Now let's add the sphere inside the emitter as a child of it. Go to emitter and show object, check show object, and as you can see we have some flying spheres here. Let's change the birth rate editor to 15 and the stop emission to 200, for example. And let's go to the sphere inside the emitter, right click on it, simulation tags, and add a rigid body. Go to collision, not yet, but we have something like this now. Sorry. Now we have to add a, as you can see if you play it, we have some spheres. The pipe doesn't hold the spheres, so we need to add some simulation tag for it. Simulation tag, sorry, and the collider body. Go to the tag and go to collisions, change the shape from automatic to static mesh. Perfect. Now what we're gonna do is select this sphere here. Let's name it Attractor. And sorry, English, and hold Alt, left Alt, and go to simulate particles and add Attractor. Here let's change the strength to 200, for example, and the speed limit to 100,000, and the change of mode from acceleration to force. Alright, we have some movement now. Let's we add in the attractor, in the tag, let's change the bounce to 0 and the friction to 99. Alright, In the sphere also, change the friction to 99. Perfect. Let's go back to Attractor, change the string to 400. $100. Perfect. Perfectly done. Now we can add some materials for to change the sphere here. This attractor segments to be 32, and it's create a material for this sphere for the attractor. Let's go to material editor, change the color to blue, and go to bump, check bump, texture, add a noise. From the noise, change it to cell noise, and here you can change it to 200. In the global scale, delta will be 800, for example. This one will be 50, 53, and this one will be 1. Perfect. Now let's go back to reflectance. Add a GGX, put it under the specular, default specular. Go to GGX, change the type to reflection legacy, and the attenuation to additive, and give it an in the brightness, I guess, change it to 10%. Drag this one to the sphere, and you can see it moving now. Yeah, perfect. Now let's add a material for these spheres, generated spheres. Go to color here. You can just copy this one by holding Control and drag this one, and you can copy it and edit it. And check bump, go to color, make it white. Go here, add a surfaces, tiles, change the color here to be yellow, something like that. Change this one to black, change the pattern to lines 1 and the grout weight to 0, bevel weight to 20. Good. Let's copy this shader, go to luminance, paste the shader, enable luminance. Perfect. We can add this one. You can have it like this if you want. As you can see, there are some black. Yeah. Or you can drag this to sphere only to have this shiny color. Now let's add a color for the pipe, material for the pipe. Go to color, change it a little bit to enable reflectance. Go here, add an GGX, change it to reflection legacy, additive, and give it an 8% or something like that, so we can get this one. Now we have to add a sky. and go and add an HDR picture. It will be available to download too in the description. We don't want to copy it. Let's edit this one, remove reflection, and go here, take this to luminance, or color will be better. Yeah, add it to the sky and go here, simulation, the sky, right click and cinema 4D tags, compositing, and disable scene by camera. Now we have a lightning for the scene, but not enough yet, I guess, because if we enabled the global illumination using a low irradiance cache, if we use the global illumination, it will look like this. Now this, but we have some shadows on the floor. Let's add a material for the floor, and let's change it a little bit darker, and let's add a camera here, hide it and add a protection for it. Now let's add a cube. Let's add another one, copy this one, let's select these two and enable fillet. Alright, create a material, enable luminance and increase brightness to 200, drag it to this cube, the inner one, and we can have this one as a lightning here. Can have these two guys here as a lightning. Let's put it here, and let's go back to our camera. Let's test. I think it's better, but we have to add more lightning. Let's go back to here and let's copy this cube, scale it down a little, let's place it on the object. One will be here and one will be here. This one, let's rotate it, and this one, let's rotate it a little bit here. Perfect. Now let's go back to our camera. Let's render it. You can see the shadows are going to disappear step by step. Let's take this one here a little bit down, and let's test the render. I think it's good. So we can add more details. We can add more details, as I said, by adding a new sphere here, or just copy this one here, change the radius a little bit, Change the radius here, and let's add another one here. This on the top, and let's add a material for them. Let's copy this one, change this material to blue, for example. You can just copy or just take the shader here. Let's copy this material, change the color to red, something like red, I think. Perfect. Go here and drag it to this one, drag this one to this sphere, the blue one to this sphere. Let's go back to the camera. We have some black area here. We need to fix it, this one. So let's go back to emitter, material, and change the UV length. Perfect. Go back to our camera. Perfect. We can render it now. Yeah. So this is the end of this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and if you like my work, please hit the subscribe button and share the video with your friends, and see you in the next upcoming tutorial.